Hey everybody, it's Complacent Badger with Sierra Kilo.
Hey, greetings.
We will be doing the Week 8 recap. Alright, so a little bit of a longer week because a lot of things happened.
Yeah, a lot of things.
We have what is most likely going to end up being a team missing for the rest of the season.
Yeah, withdrawal.
Yeah, due to computer malfunction, computer's dead, and he is not in a position to purchase anything new, being that he is deployed.
No, actually, it's because he's married.
Well, trying not to put that on blast, but
no, it's the
it's a combination.
That's well, I love being me.
Yeah, and then one of the players, a little bit of extended time because they're in the hospital for a weekend. Everything's fine. Nobody's hurt. Everybody's good to go.
Yep, glad to wait for something like that.
Yeah, good to wait a weekend just to have good news at the end of it.
Yep, for sure. And prefer to have everybody up and running.
Yep.
So.
For the matches, we had the infamous game of the Nordic Kneecappers and the Pitch Doctors.
Good gracious, what a fucking nightmare that would have turned into for me.
That was
both just laughing. Really, that was the first indication of what an Agility 4 player is going to bring to the season, to the league, and we saw that in other matches as well. So you have your character with Strong Arm and Mighty Blow, or
yeah, the trolls do come standard with Mighty Blow.
Yep. So you pick that the Strong Arm up and just threw your goblin, who landed like a world-class figure skater on his feet, and danced his way into the end zone for 2 of your 3 touchdowns, right?
Yes, and then the last one was kind of a lot of fucking rolls that ended up going well.
Yeah, it was just general mayhem, and that was an awesome game. And that's just the truth of Blood Bowl is, you know what, even when you lose, you can still have fun, and that was just a fun. I've watched that probably 2 times now, and I love watching it. It's hilarious. Yeah,
I've watched it a few times, just kind of laughing at the back and forth. I mean, it really just kind of went. It was going really bad for me, and then it was going really bad for you, then really bad for me, and then really bad for you, and then it just ended.
Yeah, and then you're done.
Our highest scoring game of the season tied, of course, with the 5-0 win that Umbrella Corp and Sunday Speedwalkers had in Week 5.
Yeah, that's a lot of touchdowns to fit in there. I mean, you throwing your character and having that super long movement really helped out. Yeah,
movement 7 plus a short pass added to it is pretty strong.
So that worked out real well. That was frustrating because I knew that it was coming that second time, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Just standing there like toy soldiers watching the end come.
Just mad. You don't do it. Don't you fucking do it. You're gonna do it, aren't you? Yep, there it went. But yeah, Agility 4 Goblin. So that's something for everybody to look out for.
Yeah, I assume he's not gonna make it to the end of the season. Second game was Umbrella Corporation and the Crazy Eights.
So another Agility 4 character doing damage.
Yeah, I have to say that a lot of people were worried about him having an Agility 5 vampire, but it seems, honestly, that his Agility 4 blodgers are doing most of the work for him.
Yeah, and just impossible to put on the ground.
Without the right equipment. If you get tackled...
Right, I mean, that's, in this particular circumstance, without having an additional ability, I think that Action Jackson's Crazy Eights were unfortunately ill-equipped to handle those 2 vampires.
Yeah, and the vampires were rolling decently. I think only suffered from Bloodlust maybe twice. I couldn't see any more if there was more. And then dodge rolls were being fair.
Yes.
Having Agility 4 dodging out into 2 tackle zones, basically only taking a -1 modifier to the dodge roll. I mean, not horrible odds, especially if you have dodge. Once again, tackle could have mitigated that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Action Jackson started out with the mentality to kill the thralls, and just didn't seem to be able to get that done as effectively as I think he would have liked. But he still did some serious damage, pushed a vampire out, stunned one. So he was still being able to do some damage with his team, and it just didn't end up being enough on the defensive side to stop those 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I said it during the review. It just came down to a lack of tackle, honestly. I think that game would have gone almost the opposite direction if he would have just had 2 players with tackle. And I specifically mentioned those Corn Heralds would have been a perfect pickup for tackle instead of block.
Right.
I know a lot of people have different sentiments on it, but I really feel that if a character already has Juggernaut or block, that picking up the other one is covering too much of the same area.
Right.
But if that's your style, that's your style. I tend to pick abilities that complement one another, not completely overlap.
Right, and I think that the nice thing is that most of the people in this league have not played these teams before, so you don't really get that. Like, you don't get the feeling of the result or the combination until after you have it, and then sometimes it's too late.
Yeah. So. The next game was the exactly as planned Sunday Speedwalkers game. A good game all in all. Hustler 1 actually showing some strong ball movement as opposed to what we've seen previously. And
what? I mean, he caged it up, marched it down the field, and did a really good job. Put himself in position to score very quickly every time he had possession, and definitely had his team matched up against the Sunday Speedwalkers on a couple occasions, and was able to punch pretty hard. He had an opportunity for a second touchdown in the win deep in the second half, and wasn't able to convert. But it was a pretty good game to watch, and a good one for Ducky Shoes to really look at and say, how are tackle zones affecting dodges? And that was something that we saw a couple times. But aside from that specific type of mistake, I think that she played a really good game and kept it to 1-1. And if you look at the kind of point spreads that she's seen in previous games, 1-1 is pretty acceptable.
Yeah, I agree. And once again, the only issue that I saw really with her game was the fact that she wasn't taking into account negative modifiers for tackle zones. Upwards of 4 tackles done with 2+ tackle zones converging on that point. There wasn't really much use in doing it because it was going to fail no matter what, and was just very dangerous maneuvers.
Yeah, and we saw that once with Axon Jackson, where he moved a character and into a position that it seemed to you and I during the commentary that he believed that character was being useful, and he wasn't for the tackle zone modifier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep an eye on your tackle zones, people. Make sure that, because remember, a dodge is only affected if they are landing in a zone that has a tackle zone or more tackle zones. It does not matter from where they're leaving. Their leaving only causes a dodge roll to begin with.
Right, so that's the important thing to remember, is that it doesn't matter how many tackle zones the character is in, it's a standard dodge out. And the negative modifiers apply to the place that they land.
Exactly.
So if there are no tackle zones on the space that they are dodging into, then it's a standard dodge out.
Which gives them +1 because all dodges get a +1 modifier.
Right.
And then for the last game, Mass Rack and Flying Coconuts, we had a league decision to default to 0-0 because Flying Coconuts' inability to play. As far as we can tell, Mass Rack still got his MVP, so he's getting a mild amount of points, and he got +1 on his rankings, as did Flying Coconuts. Okay,
so yeah, that's a tough position to be in for the league, but we're definitely coming through because of the specific nature of the inability to play. We need to keep the league moving, and this seems to be the most fair. And if we run into any problems along the way, we'll sort them out as required. But so the 0-0 is going to be the same thing. So my game for week 9 is would have been against Flying Coconut. So I'm gonna take the same 0-0, 5 MVP points.
Yep, and I will hold those 0-0s until everybody else has played, just in case he does manage to either buy a new one or fix his stuff.
Right. Outstanding.
All right, for the teams, we're looking at Pitch Doctors going into week 9. No extra injuries right now. Nothing too crazy, and I don't really think anything happened too substantially for level ups or anything, so the team's still where it's at.
Didn't I kill one of you guys?
You did not.
Oh.
Oh no, wait, you did, but I immediately purchased a new one. Nurse Qualglum is new to the group.
Why would you do that? You have to say that all the time.
What?
The name. From now on, every time we do a review, you have to say you're number 15 player. You have to,
Nurse Qualglum?
Yeah.
All right. Nurse Qualglum is ready to compete.
Excellent choice.
All right, next we have Hustler 1 and exactly his plan. Team looking strong, still at 12 players. Honestly, I don't really see much more need for players, so 12 is a perfectly fine number.
No, I'm with you there, and a pretty good spread of levels. You've got quite a few guys with 2, and that one character, that one Beastman with Claw and Mighty Blow. Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. Chaos Warriors, 1 with Block, 1 with Guard, 1 with Mighty Blow. Interesting that he picked Mighty Blow for this one instead of just getting Block first and then getting Mighty Blow. That's probably what I would have gone. The Guard guy, I get to increase the strength of both guys around him. Once again, I think with the Chaos Warriors, since it just comes as a general stat that they can get, I would have gotten Block first for all of them. But, you know, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a block-heavy league, but it's such a powerful skill.
Well, and it's just one of those things, the way I look at it is if I'm knocking more players down and not getting knocked down, I have the more odds of getting star player points. And if I can, you know, quickly get those star player points, then I can add something like Mighty Blow or Claw or something to make it even better.
Right, but yeah, no, you can look at it the opposite way and say, you know, with the Mighty Blow, the increased penetration, that you might have you might actually be getting the star player points faster the other way.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
How it turns out.
Yep. Beastman with Wrestle. We saw that in the last game, that it could have potentially gone a different way utilizing the Wrestle. I'm still not sold on a Beastman having Wrestle, but we'll see if he can do something with it in this league.
Yeah, I mean, any character with Wrestle's a good character, so it's all in how you use it.
Sure Hands, I think that's a perfect choice. He picked that up because he picked a big hand, I think maybe not reading it too carefully on what it did, and Sure Hands was more up the alley of what he wants. Right,
yeah, he knew exactly what he wanted and fixed the pickup problem that he had, and then Sure Hands is gonna do that a little better because he was running into those negative modifiers early in the league and getting frustrated. So he fixed the exact problem, but then and then saw how Sure Hands could for his play style would have been a better option. So fixed that right away, and now he's got two solid ball carriers.
Yep. And then Beastman with Tackle. Good.
Yep.
I can't agree with that more.
Perfect.
Iron Beer Bellies, just look at the team one final time until he's going to be able to play again. Looking at a blocker with Mighty Blow, great choice. Blocker with Guard, excellent choice. +1 agility and block on a runner. That looks also very good. Runner with block, great. A blitzer with dodge, must have rolled doubles on that one. That's perfectly fine. A blodge blitzer, that's nice.
For sure.
Strip ball on a blitzer, love that choice.
Yep. I think everybody needs one player on the team with strip ball.
Mm-hmm. And then Kadox having guard as a blocker, very strong. 2 guard blockers. Really unfortunate that there's a high potential that we're not going to see this team anymore, because I agree with every single one of his skill upgrades and really like where he's going with it.
He's well set.
Let's look at those Nordic kneecappers.
Yeah, buddy.
Looking at a runner with jump up, That's
That has been so useful.
good. Tackle on lineman, very strong. Dauntless and guard on a lineman, very strong, especially when going up against those big baddies in the center.
Yeah.
Then kick on a lineman, always good.
That was a frustration that I had and fixed it, so that's good.
Strip ball on a lineman, very strong. Dirty player on a lineman, we'll see if we get more fouls going on.
Yeah, buddy.
Another tackle and another tackle. All this tackle. I
All this tackle.
felt like you had 40 players that had tackle on the pitch when I played you.
I just kept moving them around.
I was about to say, every time I went to do anything, I was like, dude, that fucker has tackle.
That made me real happy against you.
Yeah. Forced 6 failed tackles on me, or rather 6 failed dodge rolls on me.
Yep.
Alright, so for the Vamps, we have A. Wesker with Blodge and Pro. Pretty strong.
Yep.
Another Blodge Vampire for Al Wesker. Albert Wesker is the +1 agility with Pass Block, his intercepting party. For some reason, Chris Redfield, just having all of the star player points, has Kick and Wrestle. Let's look at how many. Chris Redfield has 3 MVPs, so that's probably why.
Yeah, that'll do it. Sometimes you just get a player that levels up too fast for you to really know what you want him to be later in the league, you know?
Yeah, kick and wrestle is really good. That makes it a really good safety, getting that kick, and then if somebody comes by, just kind of throwing your thrall at it, and then hoping for a both down.
Perfect.
And then Alberto Wesker, he actually picked up a 4th vampire.
Nice.
So we'll have to deal with that now. And then a bunch of level 1 thralls. He actually is 2 away from having a full roster. So.
Right. Yeah, one of his thralls this last match got MVP, so that's that 5. Barry Burton picked up MVP for his team. So
nice.
That's always you know, on a team like that, and you're like, no, thanks. That's the guy I want to get all the star player points.
It's tough when you have a team of like 3 key players.
Right.
For the Crazy Eights, block on a pit fighter, guard on a pit fighter, block on a pit fighter, block on the Corn Herald, block on a Corn Herald, block on a pit fighter, and block on a pit fighter.
Yep. So you want to talk about how that deals with frenzy?
Yes. Basically, it just makes your frenzy that much stronger. The fact that you're able to, instead of putting your opponent down on 1 in a 3 of a chance, there's a potential of having it 50% of the time, putting your opponent down, and on top of that, making it to where when you're on the offensive tackling, it's only a 1 out of 6 chance on a single die to put yourself down.
How much better is that?
It is fucking 100% better.
Yeah, and the most important thing is not yet. I don't think having full control over some of those guys with frenzy, where we've seen him get sucked into bad situations and tackles, increasing his chances when that happens of good things happening instead of bad things happening is a good thing.
Yeah, I will say 1 die blocks have been a pretty common trend in his games. I would almost argue some games it was more often than not. But block will make that, you know, whether or not it's going to teach him how to use frenzy properly, you know, can be left to question, but it will mitigate the damage that happens if he does mess up.
Right. And I mean that now makes it a legitimate strategy. Is if you really need to, you can do that 1 die.
Yeah, especially if it has a lot to gain and the opponent doesn't have block, yada yada yada.
Yep.
The Snarl 2 smashes them greenskins. A lot of level 3s on this team. And by a lot, I mean 2. But Blitzer Gorfak has tackle and mighty blow on top of the standard block. That's a beautiful blitzer.
Yeah.
Blodge on another blitzer, pretty strong.
Serious concussion.
Yeah, the reduced armor value, but you know, to picking up
still an 8.
Yeah, I mean orc blitzers are tough, and then having Blodge I think almost makes up for that armor value. I mean, unless you have tackle, you're not really, you know, you only got 1 out of 6 chance of actually putting him down.
Yeah.
You have a thrower with accurate. I thought it was a perfect compliment.
Exactly.
Moglop with Sure Hands and Mighty Blow. I spoke to him when he first picked up Mighty Blow after getting Sure Hands, and he agrees that it's kind of a regret that he should have picked something that went along more with Sure Hands.
Right. Something more with movement or not getting tackled instead of something that you want that guy in the heat of the battle on the skirmish lines.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible thing, but sometimes you want to just make a really streamlined character.
Right.
Lineman with block. Lineman with block. Pretty good team overall, I think.
Yep, and he's starting to play it pretty well.
Yep, 12 players, so he can only take one guy, or rather, he can accept one guy off the pitch and still be strong.
And that's the kind of point in the league that you need to have at least, you know, one or two other players.
Or five.
Or five, depending on your luck with the dice, right?
Yep. And then a thrower for the Sunday Speedwalkers with leader and +1 agility. Leader making it basically the amount of rerolls that I think that this team needs. I think 4 is a pretty good amount of rerolls for a Wood Elf team. As long as you play strong, I don't think you need much more.
Correct.
Catcher with block. I don't know if I would have chosen that, but it makes it a lot more defendable. But at strength 2, I mean, all they need is strength 4 character just needs 1 assist just to get 3 dice on you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the block is useful, but I think picking up something else might have been mildly more useful. But we'll see what happens.
Right. As we say with a lot of things, it's tough for us to get in the mind of the owner and say, how are we going to develop this team? So let's see what she does with it, and that'll determine how good or poor a choice it was.
Yep. The catcher that won't be playing it next game has +1 movement allowance though still, so pretty strong choice.
Right.
Shadowing on that lineman, you have yet to really see that shine as heavily as was anticipated, but I think it will get there at some point.
Yeah, right now it's an occasional nuisance. We haven't seen it trigger too often. We saw one game, maybe 2 games, where it went a little bit, but didn't really change the outcome of the play.
Yep. Dodge on a lineman, perfect choice, I think. Get him out of there, put him on the line, and then jump away.
Right.
Dodge on another lineman, so getting those 2 the required ones on the line, and then having the tree in between them, and then on your first turn, just jumping away.
Perfect style.
I think that's a great to keep your linemen safe and usable. And tree actually getting close to leveling up. If it gets 1 more injury, it's good to go.
And that's pretty assured with the amount of times that thing has been able to hit lately.
Yeah, and then actually picked up a 12th player, War Dancer. This is going to change. This is going to change the game.
We've heard the threats that was coming. So, how do you think that's going to change the team?
I think that as long as the War Dancer is in good position and she utilizes them and doesn't get too, as long as she doesn't get too aggressive with the War Dancer, she'll be fine. Keep in mind, this character is still armor value 7, strength 3.
Right.
It's going to go down just as bad as the other ones, but it does have block and dodge to protect it, and that leap can get it into positions that are more advantageous. But if it takes any sort of counterattack, it may be gone for the game.
Right. So the important thing to do is that's going to be a great positional player. Try to get that guy leveled up pretty quick. Get something like a ball handling skill on it, and I mean that's going to be a great runner along with the having a couple catchers downfield.
More importantly, I think this is going to be the character that she needs to be a cage breaker. She's had a lot of problems stopping an opponent's cage.
Right.
And with the combination of leap, block, and dodge at agility 4 and movement 8, it's just really strong at being where you need it to and then hitting hard. There's a couple abilities that you can pick up with this War Dancer as it levels to make it even better as a cage breaker. But until then, she's going to have to be very careful.
Right. Still just as delicate as any of the main tier Blood Bowl players.
Yep. Okay, so looking at the rankings, we have in last we have the Sunday Speedwalkers with 6 points. Looking at 1 win, 3 draws, and 4 losses. Quite a bit of draws.
Yeah.
That's good to see. I mean, not just getting blown out constantly, just bringing it to those ties.
And that's an important aspect too, and being able to convert those later in the season. Those draws we're going to start seeing those draws turn the other direction, and she's going to start getting some wins. We're getting a second touchdown instead of just getting stuck with a couple 1-1 outcomes or 2-2 outcomes. The elf team has the ability to be, at least 2 touchdowns every game. I think is pretty standard. It doesn't take them that long to get a touchdown, so it needs to be 2-2 maybe ties, and then getting better at blocking and getting that defense aspect. So stopping one of your opponent's drives and making use of that.
Yeah, I think the ties go to show that she is developing an ability to defend a little easier than before, but she still lacks on her offensive capability.
True.
7th place, Crazy Eights, Axton Jackson with 8 points. He's got 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. This is a team that is a difficult team to play. He is not, not trying to disparage him at all, but he is not a common Blood Bowl player. He said many times that this is not his favorite game. But he's doing okay.
Yep, I see how the team that he picked is making it a little more difficult for him. But once he gets a really good feel for it, he's gonna start running away.
Yeah.
He's got his team fleshed out right now, and making less one-die blocks, I think, is the thing that less one-die blocks.
Yeah. That's a huge part, and
and see how everything will change.
And I kept saying at the beginning of the season that he probably should have run human team, but we'll see if he can roll a little better and play a little better with this team and get back up there where he was originally.
Right, and that's what this whole league is starting to kind of develop into, delineate into what it should look like, based on skill in teams development
and knowledge of teams.
Right.
6th place, Pitch Doctors, Complacent Badger, 9 points, 2 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses.
Yep.
So, clawing my way up.
Yeah, you got one of them off of me. Still mad about that.
Yeah.
We'll face each other one more time.
I think, aren't we the last week?
Probably.
Something like that. It's ridiculous. So, Iron Beer Bellies right now are going to be in 5th place. I expect that to start dropping as the season continues, and he's just basically just an empty node.
Yeah.
Looking at.
Well, interesting. You think that he's floating right in the middle, so anybody who gets a loss gets 0. So he just by
force of will could get 2nd place.
Yeah, technically, he can. You just said he gets
7 more points, most likely.
He gets 7 more points. So, you never know.
And actually, it's 5 more points. I misspoke.
Oh, 5 more points. Okay.
So that still could put him in 2nd.
I don't think that's going to happen. But
nor do I.
We'll see. We'll see. It was just an interesting test case. Just see where a level 5 player getting 1 point, or a fifth place player getting 1 point guaranteed every week is going to sit.
So he's at 2 wins, 2 losses, and at 4 draws right now. He should be getting 5 more draws if he doesn't come back.
Right.
Snarl 2 Smashes in 4th. Maserac the coach has 10 points, tied with Flying Coconuts. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses.
Those ties are important.
Yeah, you can tell. A lot of the teams that have more ties aren't too terribly far from his score.
Right.
They still, the ties still give points, and giving up those games through mistakes or bad kickoff events, it's punishing.
Yep.
Good team, good player. He's getting better, makes mistakes, but learns from them and usually doesn't make them in the next game.
Agreed.
Third place, exactly as planned. Hustler won with 12. He's looking at 3 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. Strong team, a coach that is good and constantly getting better. Probably one of the best improving characters of the league.
He plays a lot. I mean, we looked at how many online games he's played, and it's.
Yeah, I had no idea that he was playing so much on the side. I, kind of just took him as inexperienced and wasn't playing and didn't really care about this game. But then you looked at his record and he's got like 50 some odd games played.
Yep, and it's showing. Slowly but surely is crawling his way up the leaderboards in this league, and you can see that skill level develop.
Yep.
And it's interesting to see how people who, because I rarely play. I don't think I've ever played online against anybody other than in the league, but I play a lot of solo matches. So watching how a player who experiences the world outside of my Blood Bowl community is developing is pretty fun.
Yep. Good team. Glad he's in third. Second place, Umbrella Corporation, Master Moose. 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. Scary team.
Yeah, especially now that he's got 4 vampires, he's got 4, legitimate players on the field, and he's continually doing a fantastic job of placing the thralls where they need to be so that it maximizes his vampires' actions. And got a couple vampires up there that are doing solid work, and if he keeps that up, I mean, and I expect him to, it's gonna start really making a difference.
Yep. And then finally, first, keeping it in first, the Nordic Kneecappers.
Yep.
At 18 points, 6 wins, 2 losses, it's going to be really tough to dislodge you from first.
I would like to think so, but, I mean, really when it comes down to it, now that the teams are different, I got a lot of points early and had a pretty powerful team, so now that all of all the star player points are in the teams now, it's a totally different league than when it started. My block is much less effective because everybody seems to have block now. So it's not as simple for me to go nose to nose with people as it once was. So I've had to kind of do some more movement stuff and kind of get out of my comfort zone. And I've had a couple ridiculous plays that I need to tone down the desperation moves and kind of build those into my team and make it a different way to move the ball.
Yeah, the craziest part that I see is the second lowest team value, and probably the lowest team value if Ducky Shoes didn't have an injury.
Yeah, I've got so much money.
Yeah, I know, all this cash.
But I don't, anything that I spend means that it takes away from my ability to get inducements. So I think that at this point my team's super solid. I like where it's at, and much rather have some Bloodweiser babes or maybe a reroll, or when it gets super silly in the middle somewhere, maybe something a little more powered up. But generally speaking, even now that I got that guy, a dirty player, if I can get a bribe, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I will say that if there was ever a weakness on your team, we saw it last week because your lack of extra players.
Yeah.
Left you a little weak on the pitch with number of players. Just didn't have the population to cover everything.
Right. I have I have 12 players, right?
Yeah, you only have 12
12
players, which, in normal circumstances shouldn't be that issue. With that armor value 7, potentially 2 knockouts that don't get rolled correctly put you under.
Right.
It's something to look into. I know having the lower team value is nice, but with how high, or, everybody's team value, I guess everybody...
There's not enough of a difference.
I mean, it is 2 rerolls, but honestly, how big are rerolls for you now? That you have 4 rerolls, you don't really use them that often. Bloodweiser babes are nice, but it's a Bloodweiser Babe is a chance at getting a guy back when just having an extra guy is guaranteed. It's kind of a
Yeah, floating the fine line where you know, if it'll be, I guess the determination will be maybe week by week. You know, I'll pick somebody up if I, depending on who I'm playing, and you know, just if I play somebody who I don't think is going to do a lot of damage, just dump a player and eat the loss.
Yeah,
We'll see.
You have plenty of money to do that, and you'll just have to make those decisions as the league continues.
Right, but that's definitely, like, this late in the league, having only 12 players is
it can get bad.
Not a very normal position. But I've been doing so well that I would really like to keep it as is. But you know, as soon as you say that, everybody's going to die.
Yeah, but most teams, honestly, in our league have 12 or less players. I think myself and Master Moose are the only ones that really have a lot of players.
There was one more team that had a couple, right?
Sunday Speak Workers have 12. Crazy Eights have 12. Actually, they only have 11.
Yeah.
Iron Beer Bellies, I think, has 13. Yeah, and they're not really in it anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Snarl 2 Smashes, I think, have 12. Yep, they have 12 as well.
Yeah.
And then Exactly as Planned should have 12. 12, yep.
Yeah. So that's the as soon as everybody else starts picking up some more players, bumping up their team value. Yeah, this is the league that I decided to kind of take stock in team value and see how I could use it to my advantage.
Yep. And it's obviously it's working. You can't argue with results.
Players. Yeah.
So for next week, as we spoke, you're going to have a bye because Flying Coconuts.
Yes.
So kind of a, you know, it's a free point. It'll be your first draw.
Right.
But you know, free MVP, no injuries. It's kind of it's not the most ideal situation, but it's there.
Agreed. But it's you know, I'd rather keep the league going than have anything else happen. So, and maybe he gets his stuff together and is able to pick up a computer or whatever, however that gets fixed. But you know, it's not looking good right now. So we're planning for the worst.
Yep. Snarl 2 Smashes against Exactly as Planned. This is a game. This is a rematch of two basically brothers playing again.
Yeah.
The last time that it went down, I actually don't remember the standings. I think it was 2-0 in Masrak's favor. I
think it's going to flip.
Do you think?
I think it's going to flip.
Hustler 1 has been talking a little bit of smack, saying that he's going to smash him. So we'll have to see. This will be a good one to watch.
Yeah, I think that Hustler 1 has made leaps and bounds in ability, and you know, I think Masrak's at the same place. But if he can do what he needs to do, he'll be fine. But I think that Hustler 1 has been playing pretty good, and he's you know, number 3 in the league now. So give it to the boys on top.
Yeah. I think it's going to be 60-40 for Snarl 2 Smashes. I think Exactly as Planned has a strong team, but I think he's going to he won't be level-headed going into this because of who it is, and he's not going to have his abilities that he's picking up, all these random abilities. He's not going to have them in the most advantageous places because he's just going to be trying to pile on bodies. And I think Masrak's much more calm demeanor and focus on ball handling might put it out. I don't think it's going to be more than a 1-point spread, though.
Oh, I like it. I like it. This is where the rubber meets the road. So you're saying 60-40 Masrak with a 1-point. I'm going Hustler 1 with a 2-point.
I think it's going to be a 2-1 Snarl 2 Smashes.
Cool.
Ducky Shoes and Umbrella Corporation. It's a rematch of probably, arguably, the worst game in our Blood Bowl league.
Yeah, it was a runaway.
At this point, all Ducky Shoes needs to do is only lose 4-0.
And it's a win.
And it's a win.
I think she's got that covered.
Okay.
She definitely got frustrated at the end of the last game, so just keep your level head, play like you know how to, and don't listen to anything your husband tells you, because his advice is not putting you in. You know, he's trying to win.
Yeah.
He's trying to win.
Also keep in mind, majority of his team is the same armor value as you, and the same strength. This is a game that I would argue that you could stand toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's something that I've mentioned to her before, is that she doesn't have a weak team. I mean, they're a little bit fragile compared to some of the big guys, but it's, I mean, they're better, they're just like my players, but instead of having block, they have an agility value.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So count your tackle zones. Make sure that you're dodging into as safely as possible. Keep your movement around, and you've got this. So we want to see an improved performance.
Cover the vamps. Push them out if you can. Crush the thralls.
Yeah, buddy.
You've got it. All right, Crazy Eights and the Pitch Doctors. Obviously, this is, you know, all of these from now on are going to be rematches.
Yes.
I've played him before. I think last time we tied. It was I think it was a 1-1, correct?
Yeah, it's right there at the top of this.
Yep, 1-1. I think I can take it this time.
I think so. I think that your characters are totally different right now, and it's gonna, you know, obviously start off with a little bit of luck. Your secret weapons need to hit. You need to be aware that Corn Demon's out there, so that's going to be a little bit different. Having that guy on the line means that he's not going to back off and let you throw your goblin like I did. So that's something else to consider. So that's something for him too. Is you know, he's got players on your team that need to have a target. You know, that agility 4 goblin, because you have 2 of them, right?
Yes.
So you have 2 agility 4 goblins plus that that troll with strong arms. So those are the guys to look out for, and he knows that. So it depends on his ability to do something with that before you do something with it. And I think that your level of experience in this game is gonna win out, and I'd like to see that 1-1 flip to your favor. And this is the point in that season where I expect your patience and abilities to really start to float you to the top.
Yeah, this is a game that I think is going to heavily rely on my secret weapons early on. I think if I can take out a couple key players, that it's going to be really tough for him to do anything. Yeah,
I mean, it's a numbers game at this point. If you can get him below you, then you can run him up.
Yeah, and it's my secret weapons have been pretty terrible for the past 2 games, but both those games I've also won.
Yeah.
So if my secret weapons, you know, Gamblish Fallacy states that I should go off crazy with them this game, and that would mean that if I won with having basically no secret weapons, how well could I do with actually having secret weapons?
Oh, I totally forgot in our game that I caught one of your fucking grenades and threw it at you.
Yeah, you definitely caught a bomb and tossed it right back, and
it didn't do anything, right?
No, 3 bombs tossed that did nothing.
Yeah, how terrible is that?
Yeah.
But at least, you know, you didn't fumble it, so.
Yep, that is one bonus. I really need to get Ashy Pete and Surgeon Jitters leveled up so that I can get some good abilities.
Yeah. I mean, what's your strategy for that? How do you get those? Because they don't get star player points for injuries with their weapon.
If they can get lucky and somebody just both downs against them, I can get star player points. Surgeon Jitters won't, but Surgeon Jitters is only going to get star player points for either touchdowns or throwing a pass.
Right. Yeah, well, he can do that. Because can Ashy Pete handle the ball?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe he still has hands, so he still can get the touchdown.
Word up.
It's just tough because without people having the high team values to give me free bribes, and myself, right now I'm starting to kind of pile up money.
Right.
Because I don't need to buy anything anymore. Probably just going to hang out with money and start buying bribes before games at some point. to keep those secret weapons out there longer, and that'll give me more of a chance. Like, if I can really put the punishment down, take out a bunch of players, and then keep them for another drive, potentially focus on giving them the ball to at least get them one touchdown a game.
Yeah, that would be great, and that's money well spent. So you need one bribe for each character, right?
Yes, to keep them on, and it's only on a 2+ that they stay.
Yeah.
The bribe can still fail.
Well, and you know your abilities with 3+, so.
But 2+, I'm awesome.
But 2+ all day.
Actually, not in that first drive against you. I failed all of the fucking 2+ against you. But that was a fluke.
I greased the grass.
There you go.
All right.
All right, I think that's it. I think we've babbled for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, so much happened in that. Plus, we blew through the commentaries just to kind of get them out there. We normally do a little better job on it, but we were so late, we just needed to get everything done before this week started.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it. We'll see you week 9. Thanks for watching.